So, Sweetie, You Won't Believe It is a Russian action comedy from 2020. It just started streaming on Shudder recently. And it's about a guy who desperately needs a break from his naggy pregnant wife and takes off with a couple of his friends for a road trip. And over the course of that road trip, they witness a crime and are subsequently chased by the criminals to a cabin in the middle of nowhere where things really start to go crazy. So you could basically sum this up as the wet bandits chase the hangover wolf pack to a cabin in the middle of nowhere that is owned by a Russian clone of Stephen Lang's character in Don't Breathe. And as much as I wanted to love this movie going in, unfortunately, it is not quite as much fun as that description might make it sound. I still liked the movie, but again, I just didn't love it. Don't look for all the humor to land, especially in the opening passages of the film. There's one ongoing sight gag involving blow-up dolls that doesn't get any funnier no matter how many times they show it to us. Nor is piss in a bottle all that funny, really. I mean, in the early goings, I was half wondering if the screenwriter didn't just let a 12-year-old ghost write this for him. And for that matter, the nagging wife is so one-note harpy that it almost makes me wonder if the same screenwriter hadn't also just finished going through a divorce or something. And there's one character amongst the criminals whose defining character trait, and I do mean character trait singular, not plural, is that he faints and passes out every time he witnesses a violent event. But once all the characters finally converge on that cabin in the middle of nowhere, it settles into a better rhythm and tone. And there's some pretty inspired visual gags that go all the way back to the days of silent comedy like Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin. And the gore and violence that ensues therein is all very well staged, but always with a very tongue-in-cheek twist to it. Even then, there are still some actors involved who cannot seem to stop winking at the camera even if you put a gun to their head. But because the whole thing is obviously in good, lowbrow fun, that's a relatively easy thing to forgive in this case. You don't really learn that much about all the characters that the protagonist and his friends encounter and have to go up against, in spite of the fact that some of them do clearly have stories that they're sitting on in some way or another. But it becomes clear quickly that this movie is only interested in being a fun, disposable romp. And to that end it succeeds, largely because they always manage to keep the pace up. If this had started to drag at all, it would have probably made it an experience that a lot of people might not even make it all the way through. But 80 minutes is the right amount of time to spend with characters this juvenile so that they never become grating. Not really much else for me to say about this one. It's certainly not a movie that's going to change your life, and there are far better films on Shudder. But if you feel like you've seen everything else that that platform has to offer at the moment, just give this one a shot. It's not going to take up much of your time, and you might have a little bit of dumb fun with it. So as ever, guys, thanks for watching. I will have more content coming down the pipe as soon as possible. Peace out, and I'll catch you later.